Hi everyone, this is Vidya from Bhartiya Technologies. Are you all able to hear me properly? Yes? Okay. Yes, Kathy? Hey, Kathy, are you there? Okay, I guess Kathy has muted herself. Okay, so no problem. Let us just start with the session. Okay, so before starting with the session, let us just go through the things that we have discussed in the previous sessions, that were the software development lifecycle phases that we have discussed in detail, okay, in the previous sessions. So just let us go through that in some 4-5 minutes, and then we can go ahead with the session. Okay. Um, okay. There we are. So what a software development life cycle is, it is a process in which a software is developed in the industry. So it has to go through certain phases, and those phases are collectively called as, or you call those things as the software development life cycle. Okay, and there are certain phases that we have already discussed. Now, what are the phases of a software development life cycle? The first phase would be your requirement phase, wherein you take all the requirement from the clients. Okay, and the people who would be taking up those requirements from the client would be known as your BA people. Okay, the business analyst people. Anuja, I can see a question from you. So what I'll do, I'll just unmute you so that you can ask your question. Okay. Hey Anuja. Hello. Hello Anuja, are you there?
Yeah, I am there.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
Actually, I got an email regarding this. Is today we started an intro session. That's why I'm asking whether this is the intro session or the continuation of the last class.
See, we have just discussed, or we have just taken a, one class till now. So, um,
Okay.
so you will have not missed much. Okay, and anyhow, I am revising the session for you all. Okay, all those who.
Oh, sure. Okay. That's
Okay. Anyone else wants to ask anything? See, this is just the second class. Okay, we have discussed only about the software development lifecycle and the phases in that. Okay, and if you feel that you have missed that class, so see, I am revising the session for you. Firstly, and secondly, you are also you would be provided with the recorded session link also. Okay, if you want so. Apart from this, anyone has any question? Okay, so are we good? Shubha, the course duration would be 1.5 to 2 months. Okay. Okay, then let's continue with the session. So I was telling you that the first phase of the software development life cycle is the scope identification, or you can also name it as the requirement phase, wherein the requirements are taken up by the clients, by the BA or the business analyst people, and they write down all the requirements. Okay. Then a document which is created in this phase is known as the BRD, or you can also elaborate it as the business requirement document. Okay. Then the second phase would be the planning phase, wherein the project manager is involved and he would be creating a project plan, which would include all the scheduling, when the coding needs to be done, and how much time would be given to the coders to code. Okay, then how much should be the budget, how much should they charge the client, and all those things are taken care under this project plan. So that phase is known as the planning phase. Then is the analysis phase. See, while discussing in the previous class, we have taken all these things like the design, analysis, and the planning under one. Okay, over here we have just put it or we have just segregated it. Okay, so that is not a much deal. But the things that we have discussed are the same. Okay, so the third phase is named as the analysis phase, wherein again the BA people would be involved, and what they are going to do, see, the previously prepared BRD, from that they are going to explain the SRS, or they are going to tell the functional requirement document to the people. Then comes the designing phase, wherein the architect who was involved over here with the BA to understand this document, he would create, depending upon this document, he is going to create the design, or you can also name it as the blueprint. Okay, so he would create the architect of your software. Then the next phase would be the development phase, wherein the developers would be involved. Therein they are going to develop the code. Okay, and the document that they prepare are known as the source code documents in the technical terms, or in simple terms you can name it as programs also. Then after that comes the testing phase. The testing is also over here named as debugging. Why it is named so, that thing we would explain, or we would take up the debugging thing later on in the next sessions. Okay, so for now just think that it is just concentrate on the testing phase. Don't worry about this word debugging, because we would be coming up to this word later on. So in the testing phase, the QA testers would be involved. Okay, they would be having a team of QA testers, wherein they are going to make many things, from which one of the thing is test plan. Okay, what else things are needed, or what all documents are prepared, that all we'll discuss later on. Then would be the deployment phase, wherein again the developers and the team would be involved. Okay, but majorly developers are there. So they would install the things onto the client side, and they would also provide with the installation manual, wherein they would give the tips to install the software, to how to use the software. Okay, so the tips would be provided in that manual. Now if the user wants some training onto that, then this phase is included, that is the user training and the user acceptance training. Okay, user acceptance phase. So that phase is included. It is included if the user wants some training for the software. Okay, so this was about the phases of the software development life cycle, which we have discussed earlier. Now we are going to discuss about the models in which the software needs to be developed. Okay, while developing a software, there are certain methodologies which the company or which certain projects they follow. See, if I tell you that I need to construct a home. Okay, so do you think that constructing a home while constructing a home, the things that the requirements would be the same, or you can say the architect would be the same for constructing a home and for constructing the auditorium. Yes, see, they both are what exactly we are doing. We are constructing. Okay, we are constructing a building or we are constructing an auditorium. That is different. But what we are doing, we are constructing. But over here, we have saturated it that I want to construct a home. Okay, for them, for this thing or for this field, there are some specialized people. And while constructing an auditorium, there would be some different requirements, some different set of skills which are needed over there. And you have to think in a different direction. Similarly, when a software is to be developed in an industry, okay, so at that time, you cannot always follow the same approach that you have followed. If you think that if you have followed a approach for developing a software previously in your company, you cannot follow the same approach for each and every software, because each and every software needs some different skills to be developed. Okay, so that is why we need some models. And these models, they will tell us that how a software should be developed. Okay, if we have over here the waterfall model and the agile model, which we would be discussing today. Okay, and if we get some time, then we will discuss some Scrum model also today. Otherwise, we'll take up in the another session. Okay, so I was telling that this is the reason why these models they exist, because to develop a software, it is not necessary that you always will follow the same approach that you have followed for the previous software to be developed. Okay, it depends not only from industry to industry what models do they follow, but it also depends upon the project also. Okay, now we'll discuss in the waterfall and the agile model that which type of project should be developed using the waterfall model and which type of software should be developed using this agile model. So firstly, discussing about the waterfall model. See, the phases would be the same. Whether you take agile or Scrum or waterfall, anything you are taking, any model you are taking, the phases that we have discussed, that the phases of the software development lifecycle, those phases would be the same. Only how to use them would be in a different manner. How are you going to use all those phases? Okay. So this is the model of waterfall. First phase is the scope identification, then is the planning, analysis, design, development, testing, then the deployment, and if the user wants acceptance testing or if you want some training, user training, then that is provided. Okay. Now see, the phases are the same that we have already discussed. Can you see the way in which it is presented over here? What does it look like? Doesn't it look like a waterfall? This is what a waterfall looks like, right? If you see a waterfall, it looks like somewhat like this, or not somewhat, it looks like this only. Okay. Now why it is named as waterfall is after completing this phase, after the requirements are jotted down by your business analyst and your client has approved those requirements, okay, then only you can jump on to the next stage of planning, or your project manager should be included in the planning phase only after the requirements are baselined. The word baseline means the business analyst has taken the approval from the clients that this is what we are going to give you. He has prepared the BRD, okay, and the BRD is approved by the clients. So that is called as the baseline, sorry. Okay, so the requirements, once they are baselined, only then you are moving to the next phase of planning. Okay, now once the test plan is being created fully, then only you can move on to the next phase of analysis. Okay, it could not be the case that the project manager is still writing the test plan and the analysis phase is coming into the scene. Okay, simultaneously the BA people and the architects, they are doing their analysis and design. This cannot be the thing. Okay, until and unless a phase is completed, you cannot move down to the next phase. This is one important part from the waterfall point of view. The second important part over here is, suppose say I am in the design phase. Okay, my architects are creating the design as per the requirements. Okay, as per the discussion of the as per the discussion with the business analyst people, the architects, they are creating their design. Now, if at that moment of time your client come up to you and he asks you that, see, what I want is, I want to do some modifications in the requirements that the BRD that you have already created, I want to modify one of the requirements. Okay, so in that case, you cannot move up. You cannot move up from here to here. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, if your client comes up with some modifications, you cannot accept that modification. Because if you are accepting that modification, this means that you have to go again to this stage, again create the BRD, again the test plan needs to be created, again the analysis needs to be done, and then again you have to create the test design. Okay, so as in a waterfall, the water only flows from up to down. It is not flowing from down to up. Okay, it is not in the reverse direction. Similarly, over here in this model, once a phase is completed, you cannot revisit any of the phase. Okay, and also after completing a phase only, you can move on to the next phase. Okay, once the design is completed, then you can move on to the development phase, wherein the coders, they will develop the thing, develop the code. Okay, they are going to develop the source code. Once the development is completed, then only you can include testing. Okay, now once the testing is done, then you can move on to the installation, and then user acceptance testing could be done. But you cannot revisit any of the previous phases over here in this waterfall model. Okay, so this is the reason why it is named as waterfall, because as in a waterfall, the water moves from up to down. It is not going in the reverse direction. Similarly, over here in this model, you cannot revisit any of the previous phases that you have visited earlier. Okay, so this is the reason it is named as waterfall. See, the phases are the same that we have discussed. Only the model is somewhat different. You'll come to know what is there in the agile models. Then over there you can make out the difference, that the phases would be the same, but only the way of doing the things are different. Okay, so this is about the waterfall model. Now, what all are the features in this waterfall model? That it is a sequential design process. See, it is in a sequence. After this comes the planning. After planning comes the analysis. It is in a sequence. Okay, it flows steadily downwards, and it should move to next phase only when one phase is completed. Okay, as I have already told you, until and unless you have completed a phase, you cannot move on to the next phase. Okay, and also you cannot revisit any of the phases. So these are some of the features of waterfall model. Now, any model brings with itself some advantages and some disadvantages. Okay, there are some pros and cons with each and every model. Now just let us have a look of pros and cons for this waterfall model. So the advantages of this waterfall model are, all the phases, they are completed at one at a time. Okay, you are going to concentrate only at that phase at that moment. If I am onto the scope identification, or if I am onto the requirement phase, I am only concentrating on that phase. My mind is not diverted in other phases. Okay, so if I'm concentrated only, if I'm putting all my concentration at one point, so it is like it brings the quality works out. Okay, so this is one of the advantage.